Hey everyone, it's Johnny, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel, and this morning, despite me being a little bit sleepy, I wanted to make sure that I get through and do all of the warm reviews for the January 2023 Bring Back My Bar series. So, I did get through all of them. I actually got through them a few days prior, but I didn't actually get a chance to sit down and record this video, so we're going to do it together. Just as a disclaimer, obviously these are my opinions, so you may have different opinions on these bars, so totally fine. We all have different sniffers. For example, I'm not a big fan of like heavy bakery scents and spices. I love fresh and woodsy, but you might hate woodsy scents or fresh scents. So remember that these are opinions based on them. They're not necessarily like the entire truth. So that being said, the other thing is that I don't have a bar of cranberry muffin yet. I did order it during the flash sale we just had, so I will try to somewhere wiggle that in, maybe during like what's warming or warm reviews of like fragrance feedback things. But in the meantime, that is not in this video. So if you're looking for that one specifically, this is not a video for you. That being said, I've tried to put them in alphabetical order, so if you want to scrub through the reviews and find the ones that you're most interested in, you can do that. All right, without further ado, let's dive in. So, first things first, this is Apple Press. This is the red bar that's like apples are like, I don't know. I don't have the scent descriptions with me today. Clearly I'm still waking up because I'm like, oh, what are words? The best way I can describe this is it's a slightly floral version of Johnny Appleseed. So you do get the bright, crispy apples. You do get like that sort of juicy pear note. And you don't really get it as much on cold. But there's a little bit of a perfumey floral note. I don't know that I could necessarily say on cold that I'm like, oh gosh, that's rose. But there is a floral note, and you do pick it up a little bit when you warm. So it isn't exactly the same as Johnny Appleseed, but it's pretty close. And if you like Johnny Appleseed, you'll probably enjoy it. But is it something to necessarily run out of your way to do and get? I don't necessarily know. I like it. I don't know if I like it more than Johnny Appleseed or less than Johnny Appleseed. But you do get a little bit more of a distinctive floral note too. That's really the biggest difference. Other than that, it's fundamentally the same fragrance, in my opinion. So, do I like it? Yes. Will I put it in my club? It's gonna be between this one and Johnny Appleseed. So I don't want to have two of the exact same scent necessarily. So I don't know yet. I might put it in my club for now and like mill over it or warm them side by side, but it is a great scent. I'm glad that it was part of this round's bars. But I already have Johnny Appleseed, so I don't know if I'm necessarily like, oh my god, life changer. Next, we have Autumn Blaze Maple. This came back. I remember this being in our fall winter catalog when I was first started out. This is a very nice pumpkins and apples and like oak sort of scent. Very, very autumnal, but there is a maple syrup note or a maple note to this. I don't know if it's necessarily syrupy, but it's there, and it's there the whole time it's warming. Oh, that's what I meant to say. Apple Press is kind of like a pretty solid medium strong performer, kind of like Johnny Appleseed is. So no issues with warming. This one is also a pretty strong performer. It's not, again, it's not super strong. It's not like powerhouse level, but it's there. It's medium strong. Has no problem throwing. But if you don't like maple for this one, just steer clear of this one. It's not as overwhelmingly maple as some of our other options have been in the past. But you do get it, and while it's more of like autumn and walking outside in fall plus maple, it is still nonetheless maple. So, this isn't going in my club. It's a nice scent. I don't mind warming it as much as some of the other sort of maple scents that are very heavy on the maple, but it's not for me. So if you don't like maple, that's all I'm going to say there. Next, we have Autumn Stroll. This is spicy peppered cinnamon, I think, and something else. So on cold, this smells like a men's cologne, like Old Spice, like Antonio Banderas, whatever the heck that scent's called that I have in my collection. It's a really nice scent. You do, I will say, when you warm it, you do get more of the cinnamon note. Like, it's more predominantly like, oh, I smell cinnamon. On cold, it's more like, men's cologne, spice, peppery, whatever. On warm, I will say, you really do get that cinnamon coming through. It's not overwhelming. I still like the scent. It's still probably going to be in my club, at least for a little while. But you are a little bit more aware that it's cinnamon than when it's in cold form. It still has that cologne vibe. It's still a richer, more cologne than autumn vibe. So I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way and be like, oh my gosh, I think of, autumn when I smell this. I think of a very interesting, peppery, spicy cologne. So it's great. It performs about a medium for me. I definitely knew it was there, but it wasn't necessarily as smack you in your face, which maybe for the fact that it is a cinnamon scent isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's like a muted sort of, you get the more peppery notes to it. I do like it. Again, it's probably going to be in my club, at least for a little while, but it is cinnamon. So be aware of that. Next, oh God, this one. Next is, oh no, not this one. This is fine. Coconut palm. Okay, so this is described, I think, as like palm or coconut and vanilla or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Long story short, this kind of smells to me, and there's another one in this lot that also kind of smells similarly. This smells like a muted down coconutty version of Simply Vanilla. And it's not bad. Like, if you like vanilla fragrances, you'll probably really enjoy this. If you like coconut fragrances, it's not that coconutty. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Like, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like emulating like the palm fronds or something like that, rather than like the actual coconut inside. I don't really get a dewy green note so much as I get more of like, this is a coconutty Simply Vanilla, but really, really light, or lighter relative to Simply Vanilla, because Simply Vanilla will just stink you out of your house. This one won't do that, but you will definitely smell this. It's definitely a medium strong performer. As a lot of these bars have been, I was actually impressed. I didn't really have too much trouble overall with any of them throwing, except for maybe one or two. It's nice. I think it's a little bit forgettable. And I think when you have a lot of other vanilla options out there, either through Scentsy or through other companies, it kind of gets just lost in the shuffle. It's a little bit more unique because you do get that sort of hint of coconut. But again, it's like, I wouldn't run out to the store to find it, like, at least personally. I like the scent. I don't think it's going to go in my club. I will maybe pick up another bar or two, but, I enjoyed it. And this is interesting, too, because I had an older bar of it, and I remember warming it, and something in the scent was off when I warmed it, and I was, like, pretty excited to see this come back so that I could warm it and give it an honest second chance. And I like it better the second time around. I don't know what changed exactly. I couldn't pinpoint it. But I still don't think it's, like, right home about it. All right, next, this is the one that I was going to say, oh God, too. So, coconut pumpkin pie. If there was one scent in this entire collection that made me, like, immediately pull it out of the warmers and run to the bathroom because I felt nauseous, that would be this scent. Let's talk about this. This is not like a farm stand pumpkin or pumpkin cinnamon swirl sort of pumpkin, or like almost any other pumpkin, like cozy vanilla and pumpkin. And this is a very, very, very spiced, like pumpkin spice up the wazoo pumpkin pie. And it's almost like a burnt pumpkin pie. Like someone left it too long, threw in way too much stuff, and then threw like a handful of dirt on top of it. And then when you warm it, you do get the shaved coconut. So it's not actually like coconut pumpkin. It's a pumpkin pie, a really grossly spiced one, with a waft of like slightly toasted shaved coconut that's added into the mix. And that's what it warms as. Like you almost don't pick up the coconut on cold. It's very subtle, if at all. And then when it's warmed, it's a dry coconut shavings. Like, it's like that's literally that topping stuff that you get in the bakery section and top your coconut, you know, like pies and things with. Not great. And then you pair it with a base that it's like, I always give the analogy when I'm teaching music, like you have to have a really good batter or a really good pie filling or whatever. Doesn't matter how much whipped cream or sprinkles or frosting you put on the dough or the batter or whatever. If the batter sucked, like it's just gonna still suck. That's kind of what happened here. It's like the pumpkin pie note was just so pungent and disgusting, at least to me. You might love this, so that's fine. But oh my god, and then you throw the like dried coconut thing on top, and it's like toasted, so you get like the burnt note. Yeah, not great. This is the only bar in this entire collection where I was like, oh no. Like, I will not warm the rest of this bar. I warmed everything with 2 cubes just to give you an idea. I won't warm the rest of this. I don't even know if I'll give this away to someone. This is not an atrocity like some of the other scents that have been in past. I can't even remember the one that was like so horrible that I just basically tossed it. But this is not a vibe. I can't recommend it personally. If you love coconut pumpkin pie, I still can't recommend it. If you love coconuts or pumpkins, still can't recommend it. If you love a ton of spice, I'm not sure if I would recommend it, to be very honest, but I'm still leaning towards no. Avoid that one at all costs. I don't know who voted that back, but if you did, please put it in your club or whatever you need to do, and let's never talk about that bar again. It's like a we don't talk about Bruno bar. Next we have Crumb Top. This one is like oats and honey, and I almost started to talk like the Powerpuff Girls. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. There's no spice in this really. There's honey, there's oats. There's like a light sort of almost like oat floury note. There's a brown sugar buttery note. It's not overwhelming. And you know what's interesting about this bar is I expected this to be really pungent and really in your face and really like, ah! And it was kind of soft in terms of performance. Like usually when I've warmed like a scent that has like a pretty strong pronounced butter note or whatever, it kind of overwhelms anything around it. This kind of just disappeared in the fray. It got overwhelmed by one of the other ones that I was warming in a separate room, like the other side of the apartment. And I was just like, what? So I will probably warm this again, but I was very underwhelmed. It's kind of like when you warm it, it's like an oats version of Be My Honey. So if you like that like honey, buttery sort of scent, this is similar to that. Let me be more buttery than honey, obviously. But it's not a bad scent. I didn't actually dislike it, surprisingly, but it was just really soft. And I think maybe if it was stronger for me, maybe I wouldn't have liked it as much, or maybe I would have liked it more. I don't know. But do I think it's worth grabbing? Maybe. Like, in terms of scent profile, I actually don't mind it. In terms of throw, it's kind of abysmal a little bit. Like, it's not the worst of the lot, I would say, but then again, actually, I kind of think I would. So, yeah. Probably better for the better, because as I'm smelling it in cold bar, I'm not super impressed with it again. I wouldn't go out of your way to pick it up. Let's put it that way. All right, let's move on to Cucumber Lime. This one, so this one smells like a mint mojito or a cucumber mint mojito on cold, and it comes to life when you warm this. Oh my gosh, and it's strong. It smells like a fresh, I mean, you get the cucumber. There's no doubt about that. You get lime, but it's not so, we've had other scents, like I think it's like cocoa lime maybe, where the lime starts getting a little bit too pungent, and it starts overwhelming the scent. This one doesn't do that. The cucumber really tempers it well. There's a freshness to this scent, and I think it's strongly because of the cucumber, but oh my goodness, this is a fresh, clean, slightly citrusy scent. So good. I knew I liked it from cold. I didn't know how much I was going to like this. This is definitely club worthy, in my opinion. It performs really well, medium strong. I would even almost lean towards the strong side by itself. And it's just a really nice, clean, fresh scent in that sense. So unless you really hate cucumber or really don't like lime or citrusy scents, I would recommend trying this one. It's pretty darn delightful, and that for me, yeah, that's a big winner. So there is that. Let's move on. C, D, E, F. F is next. So, and again, cranberry muffin. I don't have that one. That would have been in that part of the review, but so I drop everything on the floor. But if you have warmed cranberry muffin at this point, please let me know in the comments below what you think about it, so I have an idea at least. All right, let me get all these that have decided to try to run away so that I can't insult them on camera. Okay. Next, we have the scent Flirtatious. All right, what do I talk about with this one? This one was very forgettable. This kind of reminds me of like a slightly fruity, slightly floral shampoo or body wash. I wasn't impressed with this one. It didn't have very strong staying power. It is if I had to give it like a gender, it's definitely a little bit more feminine. It's kind of like, I don't know, there's a slightly perfumey note to it, but I get like there's enough like of a sort of undertone that it still makes me feel like body wash or shampoo. It has a little bit of that sort of shampoo-y, soapy note. I guess it's not like soapy in the sense like we talk about soapy or powdery sort of notes. It's not really that type of soapy. It's more of like that, what is it, Johnson & Johnson's baby shampoo sort of scent that you gotta get out of it underneath all of the other fruity floral notes. It's a lighter scent. I was not impressed with this one. I didn't hate it by any means, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to people. It's just kind of forgettable. I feel like there's a lot of better options out there. And the name is cute, but the name alone does not save a bar. So there's that one. It's a soft performer. You're not missing a whole lot unless you really love that bar. Maybe that's your thing. All right, next we have Flower Shop. This one is quite accurately named. It is very much like a flower shop. Walking into a florist's refrigerated section of stems and cuts, and that's kind of what you get. And you almost get that sort of like nod to the refrigeration. It's very strong floral sort of note and green note. And there's like a watery note, which is kind of like rounds it out. It's if you've ever been to a florist shop, that's what it smells like. I don't know how else to describe it because they kind of nailed it with this one. If you like that scent, you will appreciate this one. It is a medium strong performer. Staying power, maybe not quite as intense as some of the other ones in here, but it does perform well when it's performing. So if you want your place to smell like you just walked into a florist, or you just brought in a bunch of fresh cut stems and like are making your own little floristly stand, fresh cut flower sort of boats, this is what you want. I'm pretty happy with that one, by the way. I will probably put that in my club for a couple rounds or just picking up a couple bars. But anyways, fried ice cream is next. So I have heard a ton of reviews on this one that have kind of like been like, or people's opinions being like, oh, it's so gross and blah, 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 it doesn't smell like it at all, da, da, da. So I actually don't mind this scent. However, if you think of this scent as being a fried ice cream, you will be sorely disappointed. Sorely, 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 sorely. The only thing I can say about like the ice cream part of it is that maybe there's like a vanilla cream or creamy note to it. This is not fried ice cream. So I think this bar really suffers from what I like to call identity crisis, where the bar is named one thing, but it really actually smells like something else. So if you take away, and this is a great test in future, like a little tip, and I maybe should do a video on like tips on picking bars and things. But if you go into this thinking that this bar is going to smell like fried ice cream, you will be so disappointed and probably hate the bar, and you'll be like, wow, this smells disgusting. Okay. If you slap a big sticker over this and that says like something else or nothing and take a whiff of this, it's actually not a bad fragrance and it actually performs pretty well. So let's talk about what I think it should be called or what it reminds me of rather than what it supposedly is. So you get a cinnamon sugar note, and if you think of, I see where they're going with it. I think the idea was like the concept of sometimes fried ice cream, once it's wrapped in dough, or the dough batter, and then fried, sometimes they will dust it with cinnamon sugar, okay? And you do get kind of what like also call a greasy oil note, kind of like our old scent churro churro. And you do kind of get a cinnamon sugar sort of like powder that you'd put on something note. And you get like that sort of like doughy, slightly doughy battery note. You don't really get any ice cream, okay? This really smells to me more like an elephant ear, or I wouldn't go as far as saying a funnel cake, but an elephant ear dusted in cinnamon sugar powder. It's not quite churro churro, but it's a little bit adjacent to churro churro. And if you go into warming this, not calling it ice cream, but calling it churro churro or an elephant ear or a cinnamon sugar dough, fried dough from a carnival, I think you'll be impressed with this fragrance. Does that mean I want it in my club? No, it's not my personal choice, a cup of tea. But I think, like I said, it performs pretty decent. It's medium strong-ish, but it suffers from the wrong name. It is very much not fried ice cream. It is a churro or an elephant ear or something else. Okay, so try it if you like that sort of scent profile, or if you're looking for a substitute for churro churro. It's not a churro. Let me just disclaim that first, but you have something that's adjacent to that if you can suspend your viewing of the name of this. Okay? Alright, next we have green tea smoothie. This scent, I've heard all sorts of things left, right, and center about. Not great ones. On cold, this does smell pretty pungent. You get a lot of a fruity note sort of thing, and then the green tea, which is a not terrible combination, but I don't think it was really thought out. Now, that being said, I will give it credit that when you do warm it, the fruity note doesn't actually smell quite as terrible, and it kind of balances out the bitterness that the green tea note has. Green tea tends to be, or tea in general has started like a bitter tinge to it generally in terms of scent. The fruity note kind of helps uplift that. I don't know if the fruits they chose were what I would have picked. I would have done more of like a honey or a ginger or a lemon or a citrus rather than necessarily this to create a smoothie. So it's almost like a fruit smoothie that you added matcha to. So it's like you went to Jamba Juice, you got their whatever 17 fruit sugar bomb smoothie, and then you threw a bunch of matcha powder on top, and we're like, oh, what did I do? That's kind of what you get with this. It's not bad per se, but it's definitely a different sort of green tea take. It's strong though. I will say it's strong. No problems with performance. So not gonna be in my club, but it's not as atrocious as it's made out to sound. Next we have hazelnut latte. And this is great, but this is almost like a vanilla frosting to me with like a hint of espresso in there or coffee note rather than being a true coffee scent. Like if you're looking for a coffee scent, this round is going to disappoint you. This is sweet, it's very vanilla-y, very cream. You do get the hazelnut note, but it's like almost like a hazelnut vanilla frosting, like kind of like our apple butter frosting or cinnamon buttercream frosting or something like that. Like it's a frosting. Actually, it really kind of reminds me of apple butter frosting, but hazelnut vibe. It has that same undertone, that same sort of feel. This is to me more of like a frosting scent than it is a coffee scent. It's more like a tempered frosting, so it's not super sweet. It performs well, medium strong. But it's not a genuine coffee scent. If you're looking for like oh, this is gonna smell like the coffee shop latte, you're not gonna get that out of this. Okay. Good scent. Probably not going in my club because when I think of a coffee scent, I really want it to be a coffee scent, and that's more of a vanilla hazelnut to me. All right, moving on. Let's go to our M's, Mediterranean Spa. All right, so I have mixed feelings on the scent. First of all, it's strong, so that's a good thing. It's strong. It does smell fresh. I struggle with this because the saltiness in it, combined with like sort of like the zesty citrus, almost kind of undertones, gives me Ozium vibes. It's like a very distinct sort of scent profile that I almost feel that I get out of Ozium. So it's not quite the same as like, what was it, Bergamot Breeze, Salted Bergamot Breeze, or whatever it was called from our floral island tropical whatever it was called collection that we had earlier last year. This almost gives me more of that Ozium like fresh hotel vibe, but also tranquil spa underneath it all. I think it's a very strong, clean scent. It's a little salty, a little, I don't know if it's bergamot in here, but that sort of tone. Not a bad fragrance, but was a little underwhelmed by the overall profile of the fragrance. I think I wanted it to be something a little bit different than it was, and so that was kind of my own fault for setting an expectation. That being said, I don't think it's as unique of a fragrance as I was hoping either. I think there are other scents that fill this sort of spa vibe that do a better job of it. And as far as like the Mediterranean note, I don't know that, unless we're talking about like the sea salt sort of quality to it, I don't know what's really particularly Mediterranean about it versus like any other spa. It's not a bad scent. Like, I like it. I just don't love it as much as I thought I would, and I don't think it's gonna go in my club because of that. All right, next we have Melon and Apple Granita. All right. Oh yeah, this one. So, I don't know what it is about our granita scents in general. Grape granita, melon and apple granita, whatever else. They're all intensely strong. Like, they're knock your socks off, drive you out of your house strong. And again, I put 2 cubes into the space it was warming in, like, as a kind of just litmus test for all of them. They all put 2 cubes in. Wow, this is strong. It was so strong, my roommate came out and like was like, what is that fragrance? I can't figure out what this sweet fragrance is. And I was like, oh, that's the wax that I'm warming in that room. And it's very strong. Kind of sweet, a little bit too sweet, pungent because of the melon. But it is a powerhouse. I don't necessarily like it personally. You do get the melon note, you do get the apple note. You do get your bang for your buck in terms of throw, but unless you really like that melon-apple combo, it's like a dewy melon at that point, but not a honeydew. I don't know. I guess I'm just not particularly happy with any of our granita scents in general. So, there is that. Let's move on, however, to pear and cucumber blossom, or I'm sorry, pear blossom and cucumber. So, this is a beautiful scent. You do get the pear blossom, the floral of it, and you do get a cucumber overtone. This is more of what I think of when I think of a spa scent. However, that's where I have to kind of lower the boom a little bit. The throw on this is abysmal. This is maybe tied with, what is it, Crumb Top for being the worst throw of the bunch. Maybe this one gets a few more bonus points over Crumb Top, which was almost just like non-existent. But I've got to tell you, like, this is a very light fragrance. If you like soft, light fragrances, you'll probably love this one. Probably more than all the rest of them. But it is very, very soft. And I think that is my biggest gripe with it. Like, do you need more than 2 cubes to really get a substantial throw? Probably. If you really love the fragrance profile, I would consider getting it, but I don't know. Again, it's one of those ones where I'm like, if you're paying for a nice premium product, unless you're specifically looking for one that's a very light fragrance because you're sensitive to fragrance, this one really falls short of the mark in terms of, you know, powerhouse performance. It does last. That's a good thing. But again, if it's already soft to begin with and it lasts, like, it's only going to go downhill from there. So think about it however you will. It's a beautiful fragrance, but I feel like it just doesn't meet the mark with performance. So that is a problem, at least for me. Generally speaking, if a scent is like really like knock my socks up head over heels in terms of what it smells like, I don't mind if it's a softer throw, but this one was nice. It wasn't like, you know, overwhelmingly, oh my god, I need this in my life. So next we have Peppermint Rush. Oh my god, where do I start with this one? If you like peppermint scents, this is, you will love, well, I don't know if you'll love this one. I like it. So this smells like peppermint candy more than it does straight up fresh peppermint oil. You do get kind of like that candied note to it a little bit on the undertone of it, and there is a vanilla sweetness to it as well. That being said, this is a scent monster. This is, arguably, this is probably the most powerful bar in the whole 25. Like, it overwhelmed everything around it and everything. Like, I shouldn't have warmed any other fragrance the day that I warmed this. I had to, like, kind of take it out of the warmers to smell the other ones, because it literally just wafted everywhere and anywhere it could. It was literally like jumping into a bag of peppermint candies and, like, closing and sealing the lid with you inside. It's a great scent. Like, if you love peppermint, you'll probably enjoy it. But it does have that candy note. It does have that vanilla overtone. So it's not a genuine peppermint scent. And if you're just looking for something to, like, substitute in for, like, a diffuser oil or something, you're going to have better luck with our Perfect Peppermint scent than you will with this one. But if you can't get that one for whatever reason, this is a good alternative in the meantime. Again, just be aware that this is a little bit more of like a peppermint candy than straight up peppermint. Is it going to go in my club? I don't know. I don't think so. I have Perfect Peppermint in my club, and I prefer that one. I also have Peppermint Dreams, which I cannot stop raving about. But it's nice. It's like, I enjoyed it. I don't know that I would be like heartbroken not to warm it again. All right. Next we have Perk Me Up. This is the other coffee-based scent that we had this time. And again, this is a coffee-based scent, but it's a sweet coffee-based scent. It almost gives me more like mocha vibes. There's like a chocolatey or a sweet undertone, like coffee or creamer or something. Sugar creamer. It's not a genuine, just straight up coffee grounds or coffee scent. We had a couple bars, Bring Back My Bars Back, called Coffee Tree. And I think that one was probably the most authentic, like, coffee scent that I've smelled from Scentsy so far. This one, again, this is not going to be the coffee scent you're looking for if you want, like, straight up, like, I walked into Starbucks or Coffee Bean or your local coffee shop. This is coffee with a sweetness under it. It's not a bad scent, but if you're looking for, like I said, the straight up coffee note, this isn't your scent. And I think that's an important distinction to know about, because it makes a difference. So, is this going to go in my club? Probably not, because I have Coffee Tree, but it's not a bad scent. It is a coffee-based scent, but it's not a pure coffee scent. Next, we have Pima Cotton. This one basically is a muted down version, a more tolerable version of Clothesline. Without going super crazy on like scent description and trying to read it all out, if you like Clothesline but you find it almost a little bit too strong, Pima Cotton is a more medium strong version of that scent monster. That being said, if I had to pick between the two, I think I prefer Pima Cotton a little bit better, but it is strong, so a little dab will do you. And if you don't like laundry scents or like that fresh cottony out of the laundry dryer, whatever sort of adjacent scents, you're probably not going to find this one particularly great. It's not like a soft t-shirt that you wear and you're like, that smells good. It's like, hey, I'm Cotton, nice to meet you. You do get the floral undertones, similar to Clothesline, but they actually make more sense and you can kind of pick them up a little bit better than in Clothesline, which has other scent tones to it. I do like this. I like this more than Clothesline. That's what I'm going to say. But I wouldn't, again, go out of my way to be like, oh my gosh, I need it in my club. Alright, next we have Quiver. This one is going in my club. Actually, it already is in my club now. This is probably the one I was looking forward to most from this collection because I remember getting these in washer whiffs. And this is such a romantic scent. And thank you to the commenter who clarified the botanical scent of what tuberose is. It's not rose. It is like more of a botanical floral note. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that because I don't know everything. I never will claim to know everything. And I appreciate learning new things. So regardless of what tuberose is, there is tuberose in this. There's a couple other things. I think there's sandalwood, if I remember correctly. But this is such a beautiful scent, and I live for this. Hands down, if I could only pick one bar from this whole collection. Would there be any other one that I maybe... Nope, this would be the one. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, what was in this collection again? Nope, if I could only pick one bar from this whole collection to keep, it would be Quiver. But again, that's me personally. I love it. I love the sort of floral tones. I love the sandalwood. I love everything about the scent. So, very romantic, very cozy, slightly perfumey. I don't really know how I could describe this otherwise. It gives me a little bit of cozy cardigan vibes. So if you like that scent, it's in the same vein a little bit as cozy cardigan. It's definitely a different sort of type of cozy romantic scent, but I love this one. So, and it's a medium performer. It's not a powerhouse, but you know it's there, and it definitely lasts for the whole time that you want it to. So, pretty impressive there. Next, we have Rum Raisin Cookie. This one is a scent that I've smelled before. I'm not a big bakery person in general, but this is one of the bakery scents that I actually don't mind. I won't necessarily say I need this in my club, but you do get the rum note. You do get the raisin oatmeal cookie sort of vibe almost. It's not so much oatmeal, but you get a little nod to the oatmeal raisin cookie in there. And you do get the cookie note. Like, this is an actual... Like, if I was warming this and someone walked in, I would be willing to bet someone would be like, wow, you just bake cookies, right? There's almost like a hint of like a molasses note to this. I enjoy this scent. If I were to put a cookie scent into my club, this would probably be the one that I would put in there, because of all the cookie scents that I've smelled so far from Scentsy, this one feels like a genuine cookie scent, like an actual, like, oh, I just baked this in the kitchen, not just someone trying to make it smell like a cookie. But that being said, if you don't like that molasses note, if you don't like the rum raisin vibe, it's not so heavy on the raisin, but you do get it in there. And if you don't like cookies or bakery scents, this is probably not for you. It's a strong performer. It lasts all day and then some. It's a good scent for what you get. Good bang for your buck. I can recommend it, even if I'm not a big fanatic of that sort of scent profile. Next, we have Spiced Berries. This one is actually, I'm on the fence about whether I want this in my club. So this is more of an incense deep berry scent than it is like a spicy cinnamon spice sort of berries. Like, this is what, frankincense and myrrh, I think, and it gives you like incense meets deep, slightly tart red berries. Really interesting scent, really different scent from things that we've had in a long time at least. I haven't really smelled anything super like this to my recollection since I've been a consultant. I think it's unique enough in its combination that it is really worth trying, even if you're not a fanatic about it, to see what it smells like, to get that sort of different scent combination going. Honestly, the more I smell it, the more I think it's going to go in my club. It could be more of a wintry autumnal scent, but I think it could just be a year-round when you want more of that almost incense and tartness going on. And it's a deep enough red berry sort of vibe that you're not feeling like, oh, it's a bright, cherry or something like that. It almost gives me like what I kind of wanted mulberry bush, the scent, to be like, with a little bit more depth, and then like the incensey note, as opposed to like the weird citrus that they threw in. Yeah, you know what? It's probably gonna go in my club, to be honest with you. I like it, and I think it's a nice play on the traditional like spice notes. All right. Last three that I have, Sticky Cinnamon Bun. This one, it does kind of smell like a cinnamon bun. I don't know about like the icing part of it. But my big gripe with this one is first of all, it's not a scent monster. It's there, but it's surprisingly muted for a cinnamon dough sort of scent. It reminds me of pumpkin cinnamon swirl without the pumpkin note. Now, that being said, I don't think there's anything to write home about it. I don't think it's a particularly unique scent. I think many companies produce a very similar, if not the same, sort of sticky cinnamon or cinnamon bun, sort of iced cinnamon roll, whatever scent. It's not a unique scent. So is it unique in the sense that it's a Scentsy fragrance? Yes, so that you could put it in your club. But that aside, I've smelled this countless times in countless brands at this point. You're not getting anything unique. So don't feel like, oh my god, I need to run out to the store and grab this. The only thing that you're getting with this one, honestly, is if you like the scent profile and you don't want to go to and find this in a store in a different brand, at least you have it. It's like, oh, cool. Like if you're like your token vanilla scent or your token fresh scent or your token lemon scent, you know, whatever it is, fresh apple scent. In that sense, it's more you're getting it for convenience or to stock up or because you want to support Scentsy or you like Scentsy's quality or whatever. Okay? That being said, let's move on. Last two, Vanilla Cream is next. This one, again, this is very much like Simply Vanilla. I feel like a lot of our vanilla scents as of late, or at least the older ones, seem like they all... Like, this is more of a perfumey scent, and it's definitely creamier-ish than just straight-up vanilla. It's less floral, I guess, overall, because of the creamy note, but it's a little bit perfumey. It's a perfumey vanilla cream. It does remind me of Simply Vanilla. Again, not as strong, for the better, honestly. But it's forgettable. Like, it's I'm not a vanilla snob when it comes to picking out all exact nuances. I guess I am sort of, in a sense that there's certain vanillas that I enjoy, like, and I will warm, like Luxe Vanilla, love. This, not so much. That being said, there's several scents that are just all very similar. I think Simply Vanilla is similar to this. This one is one. Coconut Palm is like a coconut variant of Simply Vanilla. I mean, it's just, they all kind of have the same base, and it's a little bit like, didn't I just smell this with a different name and maybe a like different ingredient in there? So, does it perform well? Yes. Is it another vanilla scent number 522? Kind of. Is it the bad thing? Not necessarily. If you love vanilla, like, why not? Have all the vanillas in the world. But I wouldn't worry too much about running to grab a bar of that to try. All right, Woodland Suede is last but not least. And this one is going in my club. Again, I've heard some people who were like head over heels about it. Some people are just like indifferent to it or like underwhelmed by what it is. It is kind of like if I crossed a suede scent with Better Homes and Gardens Fragrant Woodland Walk, which will make sense to nobody other than people who know that scent. It's not Rustic Lodge, but it has nods to sort of like it's a suedier version of Rustic Lodge. So if you and it's a little bit, a lot of it more mellow than Rustic Lodge is. It's a nice scent. I like it personally, but I like suede undertones, and I think that saves the scent for me. If suede wasn't in here, I would have been like, meh, another woodsy scent that is just nondescript. It is more of like a green woods. It's not quite Christmas tree, but it's like a little bit more of that heavy earthen woodland woodsy note. So you get the green nondescript Christmas tree sort of vibe for Douglas, whatever. It's not a specific one per se. You get more of the, like, the earthen, like, woods, roots, not quite dried leaves, but that sort of earthy undertone. And then you get the suede, which is really, I think, is the part that really makes this scent different and really stand out and really elevates it to the level of like, wow, I really want this in my club. If you took the suede out, again, this would be whatever. But it works really well in this scent. It is a medium, I almost say medium soft scent, to be very honest with you. It's not like a strong, smash you in the face wood scent or tree scent. It works for this one. I like it. It's gonna probably go in my club for a little while, but it faces steep competition from a lot of other fragrances that do what they do better. So if you like suede-based scents, it is a more unique kind of variant to our twist on it. So I would say that trying it wouldn't be a bad thing. But again, it's not necessarily like the woodland part that makes it so unique. It's the suede. And there we have it. Those are the 25. So top bars probably for me: Quiver, Cucumber Lime. What's the other one that I was thinking of? Rum Raisin Cookie if I had to pick a bakery one. Spiced Berries, pretty solid. Overall, I think it's a nice collection. I feel like there were a little bit too much bakery leaning in this whole overall selection, but that's okay. Sometimes it happens. I don't think the coffee scents really were truly coffee scents. I think they're coffee blends. So that was a little underwhelming. The spa or, aquatic scents for the most part were hit or miss. I don't think there were anything necessarily super unique. And there's a little bit of vanilla in here that was just like, okay, the vanilla train needs to go. Not that I don't mind vanilla, but like, what else you got? What were your favorites or least favorites in this collection? Let me know in the comments below. Did you have one that was just like coconut pumpkin pie for me, where I was like, please, never again? Let me know below. I'm curious. Or maybe one of them was one that I like. Maybe I love Quiver and that's like your least favorite fragrance of the bunch. That's okay too. Let me know that. I want to know. Again, my nose versus your nose. We have different choices. Anyways, hopefully this video was helpful and informative. I'm sorry I got this to you so late in the month, but I wanted to make sure I got it out sooner rather than later. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in our next video. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and I will talk to you later, guys. Bye!